Thank you for coming. I want to welcome you to the Berks Military History Museum, which is adjacent, and the hall that you're sitting in will be part of the Berks Holocaust Museum. We just got our certificate of occupancy after a program that lasted about 4 years, and the building program was over a year. So I will call this fortuitous, even providential timing that we're able to utilize this facility. And joining us I'm going to do a few introductions. There'll be amplifications as the program goes on, but I'm just going to get things kicked off here. I'm State Representative Mark Gillen, the founder of the Berks Military History Museum and the Holocaust Museum. But if you're a volunteer with the museum, could you just stick your arm up in the air for 2 reasons? Just stick your arm up in the air. All right? What you're seeing here is all volunteer. Nobody's paid, nobody's salaried. We don't sell anything. We don't market anything until today. We're going to be selling? No, nothing. Nothing at all. So you are our guests here. If we can direct you one way or another, we'd be privileged to do that. If you have not gotten to the Military History Museum side, you're welcome to do that at the conclusion of the program. And from Belgium, we have Kaya. Where is Kaya? Could you stand up with Kaya just for a minute, okay? We have the equivalent of a 100-year-old veteran, because this dog is 15 years old, all right, and came all the way from Belgium to be a part of the program with us today. A number of years ago, we had a group in Berks County that met for lunch once a month. It was the Battle of the Bulge, the Survivors Association. And however, it's been a long time since that group has met. One of the things that always occurred to me when we're having the luncheon is the way the men entered the room and exited the room and moved about. Because almost all of them, not just by virtue of age, were limping because they had toes amputated, because of the severe cold and the frostbite. The Ardennes forest never quite left them as long as they lived and what they suffered through. The relationship that our country has with Belgium is enduring through the generations, and many thousands of Americans are permanently interned in Belgium, whether it be Flanders Field or the thousands that are buried in other parts of the country. And so we celebrate and recognize the living, these heroes here. We'll have more to say about them. Ray and Frank, I can't help look at Frank. He came in and I go, surely that's not the 101-year-old veteran. All right, I said, this guy looks like Vietnam era over here. There's a video, and I think Tyler at some point may amplify him hanging on a gun and doing pull-ups, 101 years old. Now you say, I could probably do a pull-up. Yeah, but you'd have to go through a month of rehabilitation afterwards because you're likely to have injured yourself. And so we're very pleased to have General Pippi, Adjutant General of the Pennsylvania National Guard, representing the Shapiro administration here. We have a few common threads. I was just at Fort Indiantown Gap not long ago, and I realized that General Pippi has some battle scars from serving in the Pennsylvania State House of Representatives, which I also served in at a different time. And actually, you and I were at the 2004 convention together. I believe that was in New York, if I'm not mistaken, as we were elected delegates. And so there's going to be some medals distributed today. There's going to be some honors, and in fact, our special guests here are going to receive an honor very similar to what Winston Churchill received from the Belgian government. How about that? Very similar to what General Eisenhower received from the Belgian government. And so it's my great privilege to help host this here today. And as the different speakers come forward, help us to always remember the shared sacrifice of Belgians and Americans, the spilt blood of Americans and Belgians. the horror that the Belgian people went through, First World War, Second World War, which is the subject today. And we shared in a Declaration of Independence. The Belgians, about 50 years after, in 1830, after the United States Declaration of Independence. I'll have some concluding remarks later, but I'm going to introduce a volunteer, Jim Swope, a longtime military history teacher in the Wilson School District, and is now working very closely with the Berks Military History Museum, as well as developing the Berks Holocaust Museum. Jim Swope.
Thank you, Mark. General, Counsel General, honored guests, thanks for your service. I would hope that the Battle of the Bulge is still in our general knowledge, that it's not a diet program. I would hope that the town of Bastogne, Ground Zero, is still in our bank of general knowledge today. The Battle of the Bulge was the largest battle fought by U.S. troops in World War II. And during the battle, there were over 1 million combatants on both sides. When the battle started on 16 December 1944, we had 741,000 American troops on the line. They were attacked by 406,342 German troops. Now, Omar Bradley said that amateurs, General Omar Bradley, World War II, Patton's boss, his famous quote is, "Amateurs discuss tactics, but professionals discuss logistics." And logistics is what won the Battle of the Bulge. 16 December, we had 228,000. 24 December, we had 541,000 troops on the line. 2 January, we had 705,000 troops on the line as we were able to move our forces into the area. My father among them, 3rd Army, 80th Division, they were on the southern flank. They drove all night with their lights on north to join the battle for the liberation or connection with Bastogne. So this pivotal battle in World War II, we're here because of soldiers. That's why we're here, not for social programs or any other reason or any government. We're here because we have soldiers who have defended our country and preserved our freedom as Americans. And I want to thank the Belgians for coming today to honor these gentlemen. At this time, I'd like to turn the program over to a young man who is a graduate of Wilson High School, where I were taught for 37 years. I was out while he was there. Tyler is a unique individual, and he has dedicated his young life to serving veterans and keeping the memory and the history of World War II alive. And he is currently a senior student at a local college, Albright College. And I will now invite Tyler to say a few things. Tyler Boland.
Hello, everybody. I'm Tyler. I'm a 21-year-old college student at Albright College here in Reading, PA. When I was a junior in high school at Wilson High School, I started interviewing World War II veterans as a passion project of mine, and ever since then, I've really loved it. I've interviewed several hundred World War II veterans from all over the country, and at this point, where they're towards the end of their lives, it's important to remember and honor their sacrifices they made 80 years ago. Frank and I went to Bastogne in June, and I thought he should be recognized for his service during World War II. So I reached out to the Belgian consulate, hoping to get a medal for Mr. Frank and other veterans I know, and you guys have been wonderful. You guys responded very quickly, and we're here to honor Frank and Mr. Ray Parker. What I'll do now is I'll kind of give a short little bio about each one. So Ray, who's 100 years old, I met Ray about a year ago. Ray was in the 17th Airborne, 513th Parachute Infantry Regiment. He joined the Army in 1943, and after basic training, he was sent overseas, where he landed in France and fought his way through Belgium. But during the Battle of the Bulge on January 4th of 1945, Ray was captured by the Germans and was in a prison camp until May of 1945. So he's been not only is he a paratrooper, but he's a P.O.W, which is amazing. Ray has quite the history. And then Mr. Frank over here, who just turned 101. Frank was also in the Army, but at first he was in the Army Air Corps, and he was with the 302nd Air Drone Squadron, and he landed in France in July of 44, about a month after D-Day. And he was in France, but when the Battle of the Bulge happened, he was taken back to England for infantry training and served with the 36th Infantry Division because of the Battle of the Bulge. So because of these two guys is the reason that we're all here today. If it wasn't for them, we would either be speaking German or Japanese. So without their sacrifice, we just would not be here. And not only are they my heroes, but they're kind of my best friends and like grandpas to me, and they've taught me many lifelong lessons, and I'm very appreciative of our friendship. And yeah, so thank you very much for being here, and I look forward to seeing you guys being recognized today. So thank you guys.
I think General John Pippy is next up on the program, if I'm not mistaken. General Pippy, thank you very much for coming.
So the great thing about being the Adjutant General of Pennsylvania is that I'm the senior ranking officer in the Pennsylvania National Guard, and I can call an audible. So Tyler, come on up here. I want to give you this coin on behalf of the Pennsylvania National Guard. It's my 2-star general coin. Really appreciate the initiative you've done and to put this all together. Well done. Let's give them a round of applause. So it is truly an honor to be here as we gather to recognize not only two individuals who are veterans of the Battle of the Bulge. Some of you may not realize, but the uniform I wear today was the uniform, as a matter of fact, was a uniform that we wore during World War II. And we went back to that a few years ago because our military leadership, Army leadership, realized how important it was to continue the legacy. And the 80th anniversary of the Battle of the Bulge. And I'm actually a little jealous because I would have worn my Ike jacket if I knew that was authorized, sir, because I have the Ike jacket in my car. But I share that with you because this isn't just about us having a ceremony. As I looked at that map, I saw Bastogne, and the 28th Infantry Division, which is a Pennsylvania National Guard's own division, the oldest division in the Army, was at Bastogne on the 18th. As a matter of fact, I like to remind my friends in the 101st, it was us and the 36th, and 36th got there a little later, but us and a lot of units that held that line, and then the 101st came in and relieved the 28th Infantry Division, Pennsylvania's own infantry division. So any of us who wear this uniform, whether for the United States or our allies, this is so appropriate to recognize you too. We are at the Department of Military and Veterans Affairs are so proud of all our veterans. Pennsylvania is a state where we have almost 700,000 veterans, and as the Adjutant General, I have the responsibility of making sure that we provide those services. And I could tell you, I've done many World War II ceremonies for our veterans, and I've never met two younger-looking 100-year-olds. So let's give them a round of applause again. You guys, I can sign a waiver, if you want to come back in, But this honor today is not only a symbol of gratitude from the Belgian people, but as was said earlier, it is a testament to the bond we have between our two nations. It reflects just a deep sense of gratitude and appreciation for the sacrifices that were made by these two men, but also hundreds of thousands of men like them. Frank and Ray stand as a shining example of our nation's commitment to freedom, to fighting tyranny, and protecting liberty across the globe. The hardships that were outlined by my good, I almost said colleague, but the representative, you know, they were unimaginable. And if you look at if you go to our Pennsylvania Military History Museum at 14 Town Gap, about an hour away from here, you'll see the handwritten stories and letters back home, and written on all different types. And the courage of those who fought in the Battle of Bulge was not just about Belgium. It was a fight that shaped the course of history, as we've heard. Their sacrifices have remind us that, you know, the term "freedom is never free" it just resonates with us. It talks about their vigilance, their bravery, and their tremendous personal cost. As we honor Frank and Ray today, I'd just like you think about all those other World War II veterans and their families. If you ask them, they'll say, well, we just did our job. And they'll say, we're taking care of our brothers, right? That's, when you talk to soldiers and airmen and Marines and Navy, they talk about the brotherhood. Days like today show that brotherhood isn't just among U.S., but it's among our partners and allies, and it just so that bond of all of us who wear uniform in defense of our nation, they represent the greatest deals. Frank and Ray, I want to thank you personally for your tremendous service. I want to thank you for your bravery and commitment. You have left an indelible mark on history as our greatest generation. But more importantly to me, that's what you did. But you've also inspired our next generation. And that, I think, if we take one thing out of today, is that we have young men and women who are inspired by the greatest generation to continue to keep that history alive. So I love that you're wearing the hat. Continue to do that. On behalf of the 18,000 men and women who wear uniform today, and on behalf of Governor Shapiro, it truly is an honor to be here to just play a very small part in this ceremony. I want to say may God bless all our veterans, the United States of America, Belgium, and anyone who has fought in defense of freedom. It is now my honor to introduce Consul General of Belgium, Philip van der Balke, a distinguished diplomat with over 2 decades of experience in the Belgian Foreign Ministry and European External Action Service. It's truly an honor to have you with us today as we recognize our service members on this special day. Sir, thank you.
Thank you very much, General. Thank you, Representative. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to be here today to honor these 2 remarkable men, Frank and Ray, who are truly heroes. Heroes because of what they did, but heroes also for the bigger story they stand for today. And it's my privilege and my honor to be able to present them after these few words that I'm going to say, with a recognition on behalf of our country. It's a symbol also, as the General has referred to, of the enduring bonds and friendship between Belgium and the United States, which goes much beyond the Second World War. The First World War was mentioned. But we are strong allies. Belgium is the headquarters of NATO, and we've been in a strong alliance in many different fields with the U.S. for many years, and that strong bond will remain with us. And these 2 gentlemen here are, a symbol of that enduring bond. Recently, I believe, Frank, you've visited Bastogne. There was the inauguration of a new museum space, the Bastogne War Rooms. And this is, you know, part of the work that we do in Belgium to keep the memory alive. Bastogne is really a very famous, almost mythical place in our history, and we try to honor it and develop it as much as we can. The Bastogne War Rooms it's an iconic location from the Battle of the Bulge. It's the historical cellar where, on the night of December 22nd, 1944, General McAuliffe uttered his famous words in response to a German request for surrender. Nuts. This is nuts. So it's a very appropriate place for this expansion of museum in Bastogne. Every year, over 150,000 people visit Bastogne to experience the history of the Battle of the Bulge. As it was already referred to before, it was the largest and bloodiest single battle fought by the US during the Second World War, and of course a pivotal moment that changed the course not just of the Second World War, but the course of history, because broken by that defeat, the Nazi forces started their definitive retreat, which also marked the beginning of the end of the war. 80 years later, the memory of Bastogne continues to resonate with us, not just as distant history, but as a reminder of what can be achieved when nations stand together to defy evil. It also inspires younger generations, ever aware of your sacrifice, your endurance, and your belief in the greater good. And I'm very happy to see and to meet Tyler here today, who is really doing an outstanding job in keeping that memory alive. In our country, you know, the Battle of the Bulge and the Second World War is really very much part of our history education, but I'm still from a generation that has first-hand stories. My grandparents had German soldiers living in their house for much of the Second World War. My father was born in 1944. My mother was born in 1945. So their life, and so also my life, has been directly impacted by the sacrifice of US veterans during the Second World War by these gentlemen that are with us here today. So, you know, not just on behalf of my country, but also on behalf of my family and myself, I couldn't be more grateful to be standing here with you today and to bestow this honor on you in a few minutes. So, you know, keeping history alive is really a magnificent initiative, a very important initiative, and we wish you every success, and we are available if there's anything that we can do to contribute from on our end to make this effort succeed. These interviews with veterans, you ensure that their stories reach those who were not there, and that the young remain curious, engaged, and informed, which is the greatest safeguard against we have against forgetting. So today, as we decorate Frank Steller and Ray Parker, we are reminded that peace is never a given. It's defended by courage, by sacrifice, and carried forward by memory. So thank you once again on behalf of the Kingdom of Belgium and on behalf of all Belgians, all Europeans. Thank you for your service. We will never forget. Thank you. So I think now it's time to do the honors. So the honor that we are bestowing on Frank and Ray today is a knighthood in the Order of Leopold, which is one of the oldest chivalry orders that we have in Belgium. I will start with Frank. It's an honor, sir. Congratulations. Ray, congratulations. And thank you so much for your service. If you allow me.
Hey, Ray and Frank, you guys show the medals so they get a good picture. That's a good one.
And show it towards the camera, this way.
There we go. Wow.
I'd like to say thank you on behalf of my buddies. Thank you so much. For those who didn't make it, for them, I say thank you very much.
Why don't you share what you'd like to share with the group, okay? And speak directly into the microphone there.
I'd like to speak about a woman I met in Europe, and we were in a museum with Tyler, and I was giving autographs in books or helmets or anything they had. They wanted your autograph. So I was there, and there was a huge line, and this woman came up for her autograph, for the autograph and that, and I didn't know who she was or what, and Tyler told me to go around up front. She was in a wheelchair. She was 95 years old, and I went up and I gave her a hug, and tears come out of her eyes, and they did a little bit of mine too. And I found out from Tyler that she was a Holocaust woman. When she was 6 years old, her parents and the family were all killed by the Germans, and she was the only one remaining. And there's a lot of people that say that there was no Holocaust, but there was. Even Tyler and I, and we took walks in there, and they showed about this. There was 18,000 children at this place. It was like a prison camp for just like them, and they had two big furnaces there, where they cremated 13,000 of them kids. And I just don't remember what they did with the rest of them. Do you remember? Well, anyway, that was true. So that's what all I can tell you about what happened there. Thank you.
I really don't have too much to say, but it's an honor to be here. Thank you. And for behalf of my buddies who never made it, I thank you for this honor. I can't believe it. what I did was so little compared to what some of these poor buggers did in the war. The Marines, the Air Force, those who come back with no arms and no legs. I'm fortunate, very lucky. I've got a beautiful wife, a great son, and thank you so much for this honor. I really don't deserve it, but thank you. But General, you're the closest I ever got to a general. We went through jump school at Fort Benning. This gentleman went through Fort Benning, Georgia, the same way as me. Oh, thank you, General.
So we went through the same jump school.
Same one at Fort
So
Benning.
43 to 92, 91. So yeah, a couple of years later.
Quite a couple of years.
So,
thank you,
thank
sir.
you.
I
Thank you,
had
sir,
to
about
mention that. And Tyler, thank you so much. But that's all I got to say. Thank you for coming.
All right, there's not much you can add after that, is there? And it really speaks to the necessity of what's going on in this area right here. It's empty space right now, but there's a heart, there's a vision. It's a $3.5 million building that we're looking to fill up. And perhaps the Belgian ambassador will come back once we fill the building up. Frank, I'm so appreciative of you and Ray, and what humility. It's amazing. They don't think they did much. They saved humanity. They saved Western civilization. I was sharing with Frank when he first came that my dad would be 101 years old this year on December the 25th. If he were still alive, he was half a world away in the South Pacific as an aviator. And his granddaughter is over there, my daughter, and she's going to come and be part of a special presentation for the Belgian Counsel General. This limited edition print, may I add, General Pippi, with no taxpayer cost,
I know that one well.
is going to be presented to the Belgian Counsel General. And if you hold it up just a little bit higher, and that will at some level adorn the consulate there in New York City. And so this is General Washington, if you can't see her in the distance. And in 1775, there was a group of Philadelphians that formed a militia. Remember, this was a Quaker pacifist state. And in 1747, the militia was formed. And in 1775, it was ready to buttress the war for independence. And as I mentioned earlier, the Belgians are certainly familiar with conflict and conflict for independence as they garnered their independence in 1830. And so you're welcome to take this with you. Somebody said, did you have any swag for the Belgians? And this may be a little more than pocket change, but it's a limited edition print, and it speaks to our heart and our thankfulness, not only on behalf of the veterans, but a grateful Commonwealth and the military in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And so if you are part of the Belgian delegation, you came as part of that group, could you rise just for a moment? Because we would like to recognize you as a group. Ladies and gentlemen. I think this is too heavy for the Belgian ambassador to carry, so why don't you go ahead and take that from him.
You know that's the city of Philadelphia in the background. I don't know if you know.
Yeah, it is.
This is our Pennsylvania National Guard getting ready to escort General Washington to Massachusetts to take charge of Continental Army.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate the gesture. We will find a special place for it at the consulate. And I also wanted to mention that, you know, before we started, I was talking to one of your colleagues here at the museum, to William. Where's William? We have a number of institutions in Belgium that deal with Holocaust remembrance, and we'll be happy to make some introductions to see if there's any temporary exhibitions or other things that can be shared, so we can you know, contribute to this magnificent work that you're all doing here. So hopefully we can bring you something, and I'll be happy to come back for that. And when there's, you know, when the room is full here, so to say.
They were going to make a contribution, a donation. It is on the record. It has been recorded, okay? This tape will be played again. Thank you very much, Consul General. You give these guys challenge coins. I've asked my daughter, who's in the United States Army now, if she wouldn't mind giving challenge coins to our World War II heroes. She is the next generation of patriots rising up, and perhaps someday she'll be under the distinguished command of General Pippi. Ladies and gentlemen, a final recognition for our honored guest today. We do have refreshments off to the side here. There is a restroom just beyond the wall. Our volunteers are ready and willing to take you on a tour of the Military History Museum. And if you look at the very back of the room, because this is a community effort, you see the back of the room, the guys are turning around and saying, who's at the back of the room? All right, these gentlemen are mechanics from across the street. And just so you know how much of an effort it has been in this community, when we ordered some display cases, we were told they were 100 pounds, and they came in about 300 pounds. And so we solicited their assistance across the street. And when I say this is a community effort, you've probably never heard of Mooten before, have you, Ambassador? It's not exactly a world-renowned location, but we're hoping that it'll be on the, not only the map of your minds, but the map of your hearts, because what's going on here is extremely unusual. We had a groundbreaking ceremony. I'll call it a ceremonial groundbreaking some years back, and the press, as they ought to have asked, Channel 69 News, the Reading Eagle was here. They said, how much money do you have? I said, we don't have any money. I said, but you know what we have? We have a heart, we have a will, we have a determination, we have the American spirit, and this community will rise up. And they did, to the tune of $3.5 million. We've got a magnificent building, and now the Belgian people have committed to donations on a massive scale, so we have no doubt that this building will be filled. The scriptures say, greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. Their comrades in arms laid down their lives. 99+% of that World War II generation, the 16 million strong from this country and hundreds of thousands from Belgium, have gone on to meet their maker. And these torchbearers are passing that torch on to the next generation of patriots. And so we are very pleased that you came to join in this special ceremony. I know the Belgians, every opportunity they have, are trying to get out of New York City because they get parking here they don't have to pay $50 a day for. So anytime you want to come out and visit us, we're privileged to have you. God bless you. Linger, stay, enjoy some refreshment. Be here as long as you like. Have a great afternoon. Thank you.